Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed at 1,000 subscribers. I'll be posting a special video. My finger slipped and his phone lit up in my lap. I'm Maya, 28, and I swear I was just moving it. The lock screen flashed a charge notification, Vegas Wedding Chapel. I froze like I'd been caught stealing something. He grabbed for it so fast he smacked my wrist. Not hard but sharp enough to sting. He noticed my face and tried a quick smile. That smile made it worse because it was practiced. "Why are you touching my phone?" His whisper went tight. I lifted my palm like I was harmless. I wasn't snooping, my voice sounded guilty anyway. He stared at me like he was weighing options. The notification stayed burned into my brain. Not a bar tab, not a rideshare, not food. A wedding chapel does not happen by accident. I tried to swallow and it felt like sand. "You saw something," he kept his hand over the screen. I nodded once because lying would be stupid. His jaw ticked like he was chewing on rage. Then he leaned closer, blocking the aisle. "What did you see?" His eyes didn't blink. "A chapel charge." I kept it simple so I wouldn't shake. His mouth opened, closed, then opened again. He exhaled like he hated my existence. "That's not what you think." He stared past me. I waited for the rest, but he didn't build it. He just sat there, phone hidden under his thigh. The silence did the talking for him. I tried one more time, softer. "Okay, then what is it?" He scratched his neck and he laughed once. It was the kind of laugh that asks for mercy. "Vegas is stupid." He shrugged like the topic bored him. "We did dumb stuff." His tone turned casual, too sudden. My stomach flipped because he said we. I didn't ask who we was yet. A flight attendant pushed the cart toward us. He snapped a polite smile at her, flawless. Then he looked back at me, colder. It felt like two different people were sharing a body. I stared at his phone like it was a live wire. "I want to see the statement." He slid it deeper under his leg. "No," one word, and my throat tightened. I hate to admit this, but I got small. Not because he's scary, but because the timing was. We were trapped in a row in the air. I nodded like I could wait, even though I couldn't. He shifted closer like he owned the armrest. "Drop it, not here." His voice stayed low. I looked at his knuckles, pale from gripping the phone. He was scared, and that scared me more. "Did you gamble?" I asked, searching for anything else. He rolled his eyes hard like I was annoying. "Jesus, Maya." He breathed my name like an insult. That little choice hit like a slap. He unlocked the screen for half a second. His thumb moved fast, too fast. Then he turned it away and locked it again. I caught one word before it vanished: upgrade. "Upgrade what?" I heard myself ask. His lips pressed into a line, angry and thin. "Stop." He didn't look at me this time. He looked at the seat back like it could save him. I leaned back and tried to think. Maybe it was a bachelor party prank. Maybe someone stole his card details. My brain kept offering exits and none felt real. He started typing with the phone hidden by his jacket. Short bursts, then pause, then another burst. He glanced at me between messages, measuring damage. I realized I wasn't the only one being lied to. "Who are you texting?" I didn't raise my voice. He didn't answer right away, which was an answer. Then he lifted one shoulder, too casual again. "Work stuff." He didn't even try harder. I watched the little typing bubbles on his screen reflection. Yes, I saw the reflection, and I hate that I did. I felt nosy and also desperate. That mix is ugly, and it makes you bold. "Show me." My words came out flat. He finally turned, eyes sharp. "Are you serious?" He sounded offended, like I'd cheated. That switch made my skin crawl. "You hurt my wrist for a notification." I kept my voice steady. "You won't even let me look." He stared at me, then smiled again. This time it was smaller, meaner. "You're making a scene." He glanced at the aisle. I looked around and realized nobody cared. He wanted me embarrassed so I'd shut up. It almost worked, and I hate that too. I crossed my arms because my hands were shaking. "No, you're making it weird." He leaned closer like he was sharing a secret. "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas." He said it like a joke, but his eyes begged. My heart thumped hard like it wanted out. I didn't laugh because nothing was funny. I just stared at him, waiting for the part where he reassures me. Instead, he looked away and kept texting. The phone buzzed once, then twice, then stopped. He read whatever came in, and his shoulders dropped. Relief, like someone else had agreed to keep quiet. I whispered, "Are you married?" The word tasted insane. He snapped his head toward me too fast. His eyes went wide, then narrowed. "How dare you?" His voice cut clean. I blinked because the anger was so polished. He was acting like I'd accused him. For fun. I almost apologized out of habit. Then the chapel charge flashed in my head again. I didn't invent that notification, I kept my tone low. He rubbed his face, then laughed again. "Babe, it's a prank package." His smile tried to charm me. I watched his fingers tremble while he smiled. "You're lying," it slipped out before I could soften it. His smile vanished so fast it was scary. He stared at me like he'd never seen me. Then he looked down at his phone, like choosing it over me. The captain announced our descent. People shifted, belts clicked, bags moved around. I stayed still because my body felt wrong. He finally tucked the phone into his pocket, guarded. On the ground, he stood first and blocked the row. He turned back with a bright grin for strangers. Then his hand closed around my elbow, firm. "Let's go," his grip didn't ask. In the jet bridge, I tried again. "Just show me the charge." He walked faster, pulling me along. "You're not doing this." His voice stayed calm, which was worse. I stumbled once and he didn't notice. Or he noticed and didn't care, which felt the same. I pulled my arm free and stopped walking. He took 3 steps before he realized I wasn't following. He turned, eyes flashing. "What is wrong with you?" I stared at him and my throat burned. "What is wrong with you?" I shot back and he flinched. For a second he looked tired. Like he wanted to tell me everything. Then his face tightened again and he shook his head. "Not here." He reached for my hand like nothing happened. I didn't take it. He left his hand hanging, then dropped it. That tiny rejection hit him and I saw it. He looked past me toward baggage claim, like plotting an escape. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A bank alert, delayed like a cruel joke. I didn't even need to look to know. But I looked anyway and my stomach went cold. Another chapel charge pending, same place. I lifted my eyes to him and he already knew. His mouth opened like he'd try a new lie. Then he swallowed it and walked away without me. I chased him into the pickup lane and cut him off. He tried to slide past me like I was a stranger. I planted my feet and held up my phone screen. He glanced once, then looked away too quickly. "Talk to me," my voice came out rough. He kept walking, jaw clenched, eyes forward. "You're doing this right now." His tone went flat. That fake calm made my pulse spike again. I stepped with him, matching pace. "If it's nothing, unlock it." He stopped hard, shoulders stiff, then turned on me. "Stop acting insane." That word landed like a shove. I laughed once, ugly and short. "You're calling me insane while you run." He scanned the crowd like he wanted witnesses. Then he leaned in close, teeth tight. "You want people staring?" His breath hit my cheek. I hated how small that made me feel. I backed up half a step, then forced myself forward again. "Show me right now." My hands shook anyway. He pulled his phone out slow, like a threat. He tapped the screen twice, then angled it away. A blank home screen flashed for a heartbeat. Then he locked it again and pocketed it fast. "They're happy." His eyes challenged me. I stared at him, waiting for my brain to catch up. That wasn't showing me anything, and he knew it. He smiled like he'd won a point. I turned and walked toward the rideshare area. He followed, then grabbed my bag strap. I yanked it back and he flinched like I'd hit him. "Don't touch my stuff." My voice cracked on stuff. His face shifted, softer for 1 second. "I'm trying to get us home." His hand hovered, then dropped. That "us" sounded like a performance now. My throat tightened and I swallowed it down. A driver slowed and rolled down his window. "Need a ride?" The driver's eyes bounced between us. My boyfriend waved him off fast, too eager. "No." That snap told me everything. We kept walking in sharp silence. My phone buzzed again, another bank alert. I didn't show him this time, I just stared at it. A second package charge and my stomach turned. He watched my face, then tried a different angle. Babe, it's a stupid prank. He reached for my wrist. I moved my arm back like it was hot. Don't call me that, my voice surprised me. His eyebrows lifted like I'd broken a rule. He nodded slowly, almost mocking. Fine, he looked relieved, which was terrifying. Like distance made his lies easier. In the car, he sat close and tried to talk fast. We were messed up, he rubbed his palms together. It was a joke thing, he kept staring ahead. He never looked at me when he said joke. What joke ends in a paid package? I asked. He drummed his fingers on his knee too fast. You don't get it, his mouth tightened again. Explain it, I kept my voice low and sharp. He let out a long breath like he was the victim. Vegas has these places, he flicked his hand. They mess with you, he shrugged too loose. I waited for details and he gave none. You were there, right? I asked. He blinked, then nodded once. Who was with you? I asked, still steady. His eyes darted and I felt it in my bones. Guys, he waved vaguely. I hated that I wanted to accept it. My brain kept hunting for a normal answer. Then his phone buzzed and he stiffened. He flipped it face down fast. I leaned toward it without thinking. He put his forearm across it like a barrier. My chest tightened at the reflex. Let me see, I didn't bother hiding the demand. He snorted like I was ridiculous. You're not my mom, his tone turned nasty. I stared at him and something inside me snapped quieter. Then act like an adult, my voice went cold. He stared back, then looked out the window again. The driver's eyes flicked to the mirror, then away. Nobody wanted to be in this car. When we got home, he rushed to the door first. He fumbled the keys, then laughed too loud. See, nothing's wrong, his voice tried to bounce. His hand still couldn't stop shaking. I walked past him and straight to the kitchen counter. I opened my bank app with stiff fingers. 3 charges now, all from that same place. My vision tunneled around the numbers. He hovered behind me like a shadow. Don't do that, his voice dropped. Don't check on me, his hand hovered near my shoulder. I didn't turn around because I'd swing. You used the card we share, I kept my words clean. He went quiet and I heard his swallow. That's not what happened, his voice went thin. Then he added, it was an accident, too fast. I turned and my face was hot. An accident is dropping a drink. He flinched at the word drink, which was interesting. Then his eyes narrowed, angry at himself. Stop twisting it, he lifted both hands like a referee. I'm not twisting anything, I stepped closer. You're hiding everything, my voice shook but I held it. He looked past me toward the hallway, thinking escape again. Give me your phone, the words came out before I planned them. He barked a laugh and shook his head. No, one syllable like a door slam. I felt my cheeks burn with shame and rage. I grabbed my laptop and logged into the card portal. He moved fast and slammed it shut. Are you serious? His eyes went hard. That move told me I was right to look. I'm allowed, my voice came out smaller than I wanted. He leaned in, face inches from mine. You're going to ruin everything, his voice shook with anger. I stared at his eyes and saw fear under it. I opened the laptop again, slower this time. He reached for it, then stopped himself. He stood there breathing like he'd run a mile. You're not going to like what you find, that was new. My skin went cold at the hint. You're finally admitting something. He paced 2 steps, then turned back. It was stupid, his voice cracked on stupid. Stupid how? I asked. He rubbed his face hard like he could erase it. I can fix it, he nodded to himself, not me. That dodge made me feel sick. I picked up my phone and searched the chapel name. A website popped up with packages and photos. He lunged for my phone, then stopped mid-grab. His restraint was the loudest confession yet. Call them, I held the phone out between us. He stared at it like it was a trap. I'm not calling, he backed away toward the couch. He sat down hard, head in his hands. I called anyway and put it on speaker. It rang once, twice, 3 times, then answered. Thank you for calling, a cheerful voice filled the room. My boyfriend jerked upright like he'd been shocked. I cleared my throat and my voice shook. I need to ask about a charge. The woman asked for a last name and date. I looked at him and he shook his head fast. No, his eyes begged, furious and scared. I swallowed and gave our last name anyway. There was a pause on the line, just long enough. Then the woman's voice shifted, careful and quiet. Are you the bride? She asked. My heart slammed so hard it hurt. I couldn't answer at first and the silence stretched. My boyfriend stood up slow, like a predator waking. I forced my voice out. No, my throat burned. I'm his girlfriend. I watched him as I said it. His face went blank and that blank scared me most. The woman stopped for a beat, then spoke softer. I can't share details without authorization. I nodded even though she couldn't see me. My boyfriend took a step toward my phone. I lifted it away from him, arm locked. Can you tell me if there was a package? Another pause and I heard a small exhale on her end. Yes, one word and my body went numb. My boyfriend reached out again, faster this time. I pulled back and almost dropped the phone. He stopped short and pointed at me, shaking. Hang up, his voice sounded nothing like him. I didn't hang up. What kind of package? I asked, voice thin. The woman hesitated like she was choosing damage control. I can't say, her tone was apologetic, almost human. My boyfriend grabbed his keys and headed for the door. Not a goodbye, not a glance, nothing. I followed him into the hallway, phone still in hand. Where are you going? My voice chased him. He yanked the door open and snapped back. You love drama, his eyes were wild. Then he walked out and the door slammed behind him. The speakerphone still hummed with the woman waiting. I whispered, he just left. The woman's voice lowered again. I'm sorry, it sounded real, which made it worse. Then she asked, do you want the email receipt resent? I hit yes before I could overthink it. Resend the receipt, my voice came out thin. The woman asked for an email and I gave mine. Then the call ended and my hands wouldn't settle. I stared at my screen like it might bite me. Part of me wanted to throw up, honestly. Another part wanted to pretend none of it existed. My brain kept trying to bargain for peace. My phone pinged and I jerked like a rookie. New email, subject line had the chapel name. I hovered over it, then tapped it fast. The details loaded and I felt my face go numb. There were names on it and not mine. His name was there, typed like it belonged. A second name sat beside it, clean and final. I reread it 3 times, hoping it would change. I told myself it could be fake. I know how that sounds, but listen. When your life tilts, you grab any rail. Then I saw the last 4 digits of our card. I walked to the bathroom and splashed water on my face. I watched myself blink like I was buffering. I whispered, get it together, like that helps. My reflection looked back like it didn't trust me. I heard the door open and my chest tightened. Footsteps, not his, lighter, quicker. My neighbor knocked once, then cracked the door. You okay? Her eyes tracked my face. I lied on instinct. Yeah, rough day, my voice sounded wrong. She nodded like she didn't buy it, then backed out. The door clicked and I felt exposed anyway. I walked back to the kitchen and sat down hard. I opened the receipt again and zoomed in. There was a timestamp and it was late. There was also an add-on line with a specific fee. I won't repeat the exact label here. It felt too personal, like reading someone else's underwear tag. But it wasn't vague, it was a choice. And it cost more than the base ceremony. I took screenshots with shaking thumbs. I sent them to myself in a draft email. It felt paranoid and it also felt smart. I hated that I was becoming a person like this. My phone rang again and I flinched. A number I didn't recognize, I let it go. It rang twice more, then stopped, then rang again. I answered on the 4th ring, breathing hard. Hey, it's Kyle, his voice sounded strained. Kyle is his friend, the one who always plays harmless. I didn't say hello, I just waited. He took that as permission and rushed forward anyway. Listen, I think he's in trouble. I gripped the counter until my fingers hurt. In trouble with who? My voice went flat. Kyle exhaled like he'd been holding it all day. With you, he said it like I was a storm. I stared at the receipt on my screen. You knew, 2 words, and my mouth tasted bitter. Kyle didn't deny it, which was its own answer. I thought you were cool with it. That sentence made my head tilt, slow and confused. Why would I be cool with that? My words came out sharp. Kyle went quiet like he'd stepped on glass. He told us you guys had rules. I laughed once and it sounded ugly again. Rules, I repeated it like it was a joke. Kyle swallowed on the line, loud enough to hear. You got a second? Kyle asked. I looked at my locked door, then at the window. I have all the seconds. My voice had no warmth. Kyle lowered his tone, like he was scared of being overheard. It was supposed to be a stunt. I didn't interrupt because I wanted him to hang himself. Like a story, he paused, a memory. My skin crawled at the word memory. What kind of stunt has paperwork? Kyle didn't answer that directly. He mumbled he didn't plan it like that. Then he added he got caught up. I closed my eyes and counted to 3. When I opened them, the receipt still sat there. Send me proof. My voice stayed steady somehow. Kyle hesitated, then his tone shifted into resignation. I have one photo. Send it. I didn't soften it. Kyle's breathing sped up like he was panicking. I shouldn't, he muttered, then his phone clicked. A picture came through and my heart stumbled. It was him in a suit, holding a small bouquet. He looked proud, not confused, not dragged. Someone cropped the edge, but I saw a veil shape. I zoomed in until the pixels broke. In the corner was a sign with the chapel logo. My hands shook so hard my phone slid. I caught it, then stared at it like it betrayed me. Kyle texted right after. Thought you knew. Then another message popped up. Please don't tell him it was me. I typed deleted, typed Agai. N. What else do you know? 3 dots appeared, then stopped, then vanished. Kyle didn't answer and I felt my patience burn. I called him back and he didn't pick up. I called again and it went straight to voicemail. That sudden silence felt planned. He dumped the bomb, then ran for cover. I paced my living room like a caged animal. I kept checking the lock like it might fail. I hated that fear crept in, even without a real threat. It was the uncertainty that made everything feel unsafe. His location still showed on the shared app. I know it's cringe now. It was on a strip of bars across town. I watched the dot sit there, unmoving like he was hiding. I drove there without thinking it through. Not proud of that decision, but it happened. My hands were tight on the wheel the whole way. I kept rehearsing one sentence, then scrapping it. I found him outside a bar, leaning on the wall. He looked up like he'd been expecting me. His face did that quick shift, soft to hard. He pushed off the wall and opened his arms. Babe, thank God. He stepped toward me. I held up my phone with the photo on it. His eyes flicked down and his mouth twitched once. Then he scoffed like I'd shown him a meme. You're stalking me now, his voice went loud. People nearby turned their heads, curious. I hated that my cheeks heated, but I didn't step back. Explain the photo, my words came out clean. He leaned closer, smiling with no warmth. That's Kyle being dramatic. He tapped my screen with one finger. It's from a themed thing, he shrugged. The shrug was too casual, like he practiced it. I pulled my phone back and opened the email receipt. I scrolled until the names filled the screen. I held it up between us like a warrant. His eyes locked on the second name and he blinked fast. For half a second his face lost its mask. Then he rebuilt it piece by piece. That's not real, he shook his head. He said it with confidence and it almost worked. You think the bank is fake too? His jaw tightened and his nostrils flared. Stop, he pointed at me like I was misbehaving. That finger made me want to bite it off. I took a step closer and lowered my voice. Who is she? His eyes slid away, then back. You're doing the most, he laughed like I was ridiculous. I nodded slowly because I saw the tactic. He wanted me to feel unstable. He wanted me to back down and apologize. I didn't and his smile thinned. Let me see your phone. He lifted his own device, then tucked it into his back pocket. Not happening, he said it with a small grin. That grin told me he was protecting someone else. A man outside the bar muttered, damn. I ignored it, but my stomach tightened. My boyfriend leaned closer, voice low now. Do you want to fight out here? I want the truth. He rolled his eyes, then rubbed his forehead. Fine, he held up his hands, you want truth. My body leaned forward before my brain could stop it. He spoke slower, like teaching a child. It was a joke ceremony. I waited for him to add, not legal. He didn't add it and my heart sank again. Legal or not, I asked. His eyes narrowed and he stared at my mouth. Why does that matter? His tone stayed slick. Because it changes my whole life, that's why. He shifted his weight, then looked past me. A woman exited the bar, laughing with friends. His gaze tracked her, then snapped back to me. The look wasn't innocent, and it made my skin prickle. Tell me your names. He smirked like I'd asked a cute question. Stop, he shook his head, amused. That amusement made me feel violent. I stepped back and breathed through my nose. Okay, I nodded once, I already know it. That was a lie, but it landed. His face tightened, then he went still. You talked to Kyle. He didn't ask it, he accused it. I didn't confirm and I didn't deny. His eyes flashed and he pulled his phone out fast. His thumbs flew across the screen. I watched his shoulders rise with each tap. He was warning someone, not reading messages. That urgency felt like a confession all by itself. I reached for his phone quick. He jerked it away, then grabbed my wrist. His grip was firm and it wasn't gentle. The moment people noticed, he released me fast. Don't touch me again, my voice shook but it held. He lifted his hands, palms out, playing harmless. You're acting crazy, he said it louder this time. Hearing it twice made something inside me go cold. I pointed at his pocket. You're married. His eyes widened, then he snapped into anger. Shut up, the word came out harsh and fast. I stared at him and I didn't blink. You can't even deny it clean. His chest rose and fell like he was running. Then his face softened like he chose a new route. Let's talk in the car, he gestured toward the lot. I didn't move, I didn't trust private spaces anymore. He noticed and his mouth tightened. Fine, he nodded like I was difficult. He took a step closer, voice low and urgent. It meant nothing. I let out a short laugh, more air than sound. It meant enough to pay extra. His eyes flicked down to my phone again. He reached for my hand, slow this time. I pulled back and his fingers curled into a fist. You're going to ruin my life, his voice cracked on life. I stared at him and felt my anger sharpen. You ruined it when you signed. He flinched, then shook his head hard. I didn't sign anything, he sounded sure, too sure. The certainty felt rehearsed and it made me suspicious. I opened the receipt and scrolled further down. There was a line about signature on file. I tilted the screen toward him without a word. His face drained and his mouth opened slightly. He tried to recover fast. They put that on everything. I kept staring, not reacting, not giving him oxygen. His confidence wobbled and I saw it. He stepped back and ran a hand through his hair. Okay, he nodded like he'd made a decision. I'll explain, he looked at the bar door, then at me. Then he added, just not here, like a bargain. I didn't answer right away. My silence made him uneasy, and he shifted again. He pulled out his keys and jingled them, impatient. Get in, his voice turned controlling. I shook my head once. No. His eyes flashed, then he forced a smile. Then stop harassing me, the word harassing hit hard. I took 2 steps back and lifted my phone again. I'm sending this to myself and your mom. That was a bluff, but it was a strong one. His smile collapsed like wet paper. He lunged for my phone, quick and sharp. I twisted away and my shoulder hit the wall. Pain shot down my arm and I tasted blood. A couple nearby yelled and he froze mid-move. He lifted both hands again, acting calm. See, he pointed at me, she's doing this. I stared at the people watching, then at him. He was building a story in real time. I backed away, keeping my eyes on his hands. I'm leaving, my voice came out steadier now. He took 1 step after me, then stopped. He didn't want witnesses following his next move. I walked to my car with my phone clenched tight. My screen was cracked at the corner, still readable. I sat behind the wheel and locked the doors fast. Then my phone lit up with a new message from Kyle. Delete the photo. My heart punched my ribs. I stared at the text until the letters blurred. Because if Kyle was scared now, what did my boyfriend just do? My phone lit up again and my thumb hit answer. Hello, my voice sounded sharp like a warning. A woman breathed once, slow and controlled. I think we need to talk right now. I stood by my car and locked the doors again. Who is this? I kept my eyes on the windshield. She didn't rush the answer, which made it worse. It's Jenna, the name dropped heavy. I waited for my brain to place it and failed. I don't know you, my words came out blunt. A small laugh slipped out of her, nervous and tired. You do, I'm your boyfriend's wife. My fingers cramped around the phone. I looked around like someone set this up for an audience. No one looked back, which made it feel even more private. You're lying, the denial came out by reflex. I wish, her voice cracked on the last word. I heard a faint echo behind her like a hallway. Then a door shut and her breathing steadied again. I found you because he didn't erase everything. I swallowed and my mouth went dry. How did you get my number? She hesitated like she hated the method. Emergency contact form, the chapel asked. My grip tightened until my knuckles hurt. That makes zero sense. It didn't to me either, she paused, until I saw the card. My pulse jumped at that word, card. You saw the payment. I saw the last four, her voice went small. I didn't know it belonged to someone else. My stomach dropped and my skin went cold again. I leaned forward, forehead near the steering wheel. Tell me what happened. She inhaled, then spoke fast, like ripping a bandage. We met at a casino bar, it was after midnight. I clenched my jaw so hard it ached. Did he tell you he had a girlfriend? No, her answer came quick, almost angry. He said he was single, he acted single. I wanted to call her names and I didn't. Not because I'm noble, because it felt pointless. If she was real, she was collateral too. If you're real, prove it. I can, her voice dipped, cautious. I have the certificate number. I froze because that was too specific to fake casually. And I have photos, kind of. Kind of. He took them, her words stumbled. Then he made me delete them right there. My chest tightened at the control in that. Why would you delete them? I didn't think, her voice sharpened with shame. He kept smiling and I felt stupid. Then she added, he was good at making it feel normal. I let out a breath that sounded like a bark. Yeah, that tracks. I hated myself for our bonding with her for 1 second. Then my anger snapped back into place. Why are you calling me now? She went quiet long enough to make my shoulders rise. Because he stopped answering me, her voice turned brittle. And I'm pretty sure he used me as cover. My fingers tingled like they'd fallen asleep. Cover for what? For you, the bluntness hit hard. He kept saying you were fine with everything. I laughed and it came out ugly. Of course he did. He said you guys had an arrangement, her voice was careful. Like an open thing, like rules. My eyes shut tight and I saw his face anyway. He told someone else that too. Jenna exhaled like she'd been holding it in for hours. So I'm not crazy for doubting him. Don't use his favorite word. Her voice softened then tightened again. I'm sorry, she paused, I'm trying not to fall apart. That honesty made my skin prickle. I stared at the cracked corner of my screen. Was there a license? Yes, she didn't hesitate. They asked for IDs, they printed it, we signed. My heart hammered hard enough to hurt. Signed where? At a counter, her voice sounded distant now. There was a clerk and a witness and everything. The word witness made my throat close. Who witnessed? She hesitated, then answered anyway. His friend. My nails dug into my palm because I knew which one. Kyle, I didn't ask it. Jenna exhaled, relieved and scared at once. Yes, she paused. He looked uncomfortable for what it's worth. That detail made me want to scream. I shifted in my seat and checked my mirrors again. I need the certificate number. I'll text it, her voice sped up. Please don't send it to him first, he's been intense. Intense was a polite word, and we both knew it. Did you sleep with him? The question came out flat. Silence hit the line, heavy and charged. Then she answered, quiet and direct. Yes. My vision tunneled for a second. I stared at a spot on my dashboard and didn't blink. I wanted to fling the phone out the window. Instead I whispered, okay, like a liar. I didn't know, Jenna's voice shook now. I didn't know you existed. I pressed my tongue to my teeth, trying not to shake. And he let you believe it was romantic. It felt like a movie, her laugh broke in the middle. Then the paperwork happened and it got weird. I caught on that last word, weird. Weird how? He kept repeating that line, her voice turned thin. What line? I asked, already knowing. The Vegas line, she swallowed. He said it like a rule. My skin crawled because he'd tried it on me too. Did he mention me at all? Yes, Jenna sounded cautious, like stepping onto ice. He called you his main person. I flinched at the audacity of that phrase. Did he say my name? She hesitated, then answered. Yes. Hearing that made it worse than the sex somehow. My phone buzzed with a new text. A number string popped up and my hands went numb. Jenna followed it with another message, photo of a document edge. Not enough to dox her, enough to make it real. I'm looking at it, my voice came out rough. I zoomed in and saw his signature slant. I recognized it the way you recognize a scar. My chest tightened until breathing felt optional. I'm sorry, Jenna sounded like she meant it. That almost made me angrier, which is messed up. Because anger is cleaner than grief. What do you want from me? I want to undo it, her words rushed out. I called the chapel and they said annulment depends. Depends on what? I asked fast. On the county filing, her voice dropped, on timing. I wiped my face with my sleeve and felt sweat. Did he talk about filing? He bragged about it, Jenna sounded disgusted with herself. He said it would be official before anyone could interfere. That sentence made my pulse spike again. So he planned it. Jenna didn't argue, she just breathed out hard. I think so, she paused. I think he likes having leverage. Leverage, the word landed sharp and true. My phone buzzed again and I checked it fast. A new message from my boyfriend flashed, short and sweet. Where are you? No apology, no explanation, just control. My hands shook as I stared at it. He's texting me, I blurted it out. Jenna's breathing sped up. He's texting me too, her voice went tight. He's asking what I told you. I swallowed and my mouth tasted metal. Don't answer him. I'm scared, Jenna's voice cracked. He knows where I live. That admission hit like a punch. I'm scared too, I hated how small that sounded. Then my brain snapped into problem mode, cold and fast. Do you have any proof he used my card? I have the email, Jenna answered quickly, and the receipt copy. Forward it to me. I will, she paused, but please don't post it anywhere yet. I almost laughed at that, because my world was already on fire. Just send it, my voice came out hard. Another buzz this time. From Kyle. Stop talking, 2 words, no context, pure panic. I felt my skin tighten like I'd stepped into a trap. He knew about Jenna calling me somehow. Someone's warning me, I said it out loud. Jenna inhaled sharply. Kyle, her voice turned angry. He's been trying to keep everyone quiet. So they all knew. Jenna didn't defend them. I think some new pieces, she paused. I think your boyfriend fed them stories. Stories, that word made me want to break something. I looked at the bar location app again. His dot moved slow and deliberate. He was leaving, he was coming somewhere. I didn't know if it was to me or to her. I need to ask you something, Jenna's voice lowered. Ask, my jaw hurt from clenching. Is he violent, she asked. The question sat between us like a blade. I thought of my wrist, I thought of my shoulder. I thought of how he watched crowds before he acted. He's careful, my voice turned flat. And careful people scare me more. Jenna went quiet, then whispered same. I heard a shaky inhale on her end. He grabbed my phone in Vegas, her words sped up. He deleted my call log and told me it was cute. Cute, I repeated it, disgusted. The word felt like a costume he used. He's not cute, my voice came out cold. He's managing us. Jenna exhaled like she'd been waiting to hear that. What do we do? I stared at his text again and didn't answer it. My silence felt like my first real decision. I'm getting a lawyer, I said it like a plan. Jenna's breath hitched. Me too, she sounded surprised by her own courage. Then she added, "He can't keep this hidden forever, right?" I looked at the document number on my screen. I looked at the timestamps, the fees, the signature. I realized he didn't just betray me, he tried to rewrite reality. And the worst part was he almost pulled it off. My front door rattled like someone tried to rip it off. I stayed still and watched the peephole first. He stood there with his jaw set and keys ready. Then he knocked again, harder, like anger was a right. I kept the chain on and cracked the door. "What do you want?" My voice sounded steadier than I felt. He flashed a grin that didn't reach his eyes. "Can we not do this?" His hand lifted like a plea. I held my phone up, already recording. His smile stalled, then tightened at the corners. "You're recording me?" His laugh came out sharp and fake. "Say something worth recording." My words surprised even me. He took a half step closer and lowered his voice. "Turn that off." His eyes flicked to the hall. I didn't move because I finally understood his pattern. He wanted privacy so he could reshape the truth. He lifted both hands like he was harmless. "I can explain." He nodded, slow and confident. I opened the door a little wider, chain still locked. "Great, start with her name." I watched him flinch. His face shifted, anger, then calculation, then soft again. "Why are you doing this?" He leaned toward the crack. I laughed under my breath, bitter and short. "Because you married someone." The hallway felt suddenly smaller. He stared at me like I spoke nonsense. "It's not like that." His eyes went glossy, almost pleading. I kept my phone steady and waited for specifics. He gave me none, just a look that begged me to stop. He tried a new move and pointed at my phone. "That's illegal." His voice rose, loud enough for neighbors. I raised my eyebrows and tilted the screen toward him. "Then don't confess." The threat hung between us. His shoulders dropped and his tone turned sweet. "Babe, you know me." He pushed his fingers through the gap. I slammed the door until the chain snapped tight. "Don't." One word, and his eyes darkened. He leaned in close to the crack, voice low. "Open the door." The command was flat and calm. I stayed behind it and braced my foot. "No." My answer came fast, like muscle memory. His lips pressed together, then he smiled again. "You're going to regret this." The smile looked wrong on him. I stared at his eyes and saw a dare. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. He held it up like a peace offering. "Here." He slid it toward the gap. I didn't take it because I was done touching his mess. "Unlock it." I said it like a test. He tapped the screen, then angled it away. A contact list flashed, then vanished, too quick to trust. My stomach turned at how effortless the trick was. "You think I'm stupid?" My voice came out cold. He snapped, finally dropping the act. "Stop acting like a victim." His words hit hard and clean. I felt heat climb my neck, but I didn't shout back. "I'm acting like someone who got robbed." I watched him twitch. He slammed his palm against the door. A neighbor's door opened down the hall, just a crack. He noticed, then forced his voice softer. "Let me in." The whisper felt more dangerous than the slap. I lifted my phone higher, making sure the audio caught. "Say it again." I kept my mouth close to the chain gap. He paused, then backed up half a step. "I'm leaving." He spat the words like punishment. He turned like he'd walk away for real. Then he stopped and his shoulders rose on a slow inhale. "You talked to her?" He didn't ask, he accused. I didn't answer, and that silence made him turn back. He stared at me and lifted his chin. "Fine." His voice turned smooth. "I'll tell you everything." I almost laughed because the timing was so obvious. "Too late." I said it and his eyes flashed. He pressed his forehead to the door, like a sad movie. "It was Vegas." He said the word like a shield. "It was a joke that got filed." His mouth twisted. Then he added, "It doesn't count," and I felt something break. I didn't cry, which shocked me. I made a sound that was almost a laugh. "You're married." I kept it simple, like a verdict. He pulled back and his face hardened again. He pointed at me through the crack. "You're going to ruin my job." His voice shook with rage. I blinked because that was his priority. "You already ruined it." My voice stayed flat like stone. He tried to wedge his foot into the doorway. I shoved the door shut with my shoulder and held it. The chain strained, metal clicking like it might fail. He stopped pushing, right when the neighbor door opened wider. Everything okay? The neighbor's voice cut the hall. My boyfriend smiled instantly and stepped back. Yeah, he waved, cheerful and fake. I stared at him because the switch was sickening. I took a breath and spoke toward the hallway. I'm fine, the lie tasted awful, but I needed calm. The neighbor lingered, then retreated, door shutting softly. My boyfriend's smile vanished the second it clicked shut. He leaned in again, eyes hard. You're really doing this? His voice had a thin edge. I lifted my phone and turned the screen slightly. I have your voice. I watched his face change. He went still, then laughed like I told a joke. You think that matters? He shook his head slowly. I nodded once, not flinching this time. It matters to me. The sentence felt like a line drawn. He reached for the chain, fingers testing it. I jerked the door tighter and backed away a step. Touch that again, I call 911. My words came out crisp. He froze, then smirked, like he wanted to call my bluff. I didn't bluff, I tapped my screen and hovered. He watched my thumb, then lifted both hands. Okay, his voice softened, suddenly reasonable. Just talk to me. The softness felt like a trapdoor. I kept recording and asked one question. Did you use my card on purpose? He hesitated just long enough. Then he nodded once, small, like it was nothing. That nod took the air out of me. I stared at him like I'd never known his face. You stole from me, my voice cracked on stole. He rolled his eyes like I was dramatic. Don't do that, he waved a hand. We share money, he shrugged, casual again. I felt my jaw tighten until it hurt. We share because I trusted you. I watched him recoil at trust. He tried to step closer, eyes shining. I love you, he put the words out carefully. I hated that they almost worked on my body. Love doesn't need secrecy. I kept my voice low, steady. His mouth tightened and his patience snapped. You want to know the truth? He leaned toward the crack. Jenna was into it. He said her name like a weapon. She knew. He watched for my reaction, hungry for chaos. I blinked slow and shook my head once. That's not what she told me. His eyes widened and I saw real panic now. You talked to her again, he whispered it and rage followed. He pulled his phone up and started typing fast. I watched his shoulders lift with every tap. He wasn't fixing anything, he was controlling damage. Stop texting, my voice cut through the hall. He ignored me and stepped back, reading. Then he laughed short and ugly. You two are going to team up, his eyes narrowed. The idea bothered him more than the betrayal itself. I lowered my phone and ended the recording. Not because I gave up, because I already had enough. I opened my banking app and hit the dispute button. My fingers shook, but the tap landed. He noticed the screen and surged toward the door. What are you doing? His voice rose fast. I backed away and kept the chain between us. Undoing what you did, the words felt clean and final. He slammed his fist on the wall beside the door. A picture frame in the hall rattled and tilted. I flinched and I hated myself for it. He saw the flinch and his eyes lit up. There you go, he smiled like he'd won again. You need me, his voice went soft and cruel. I stared at him and swallowed hard. No, I said it anyway, and his smile faded. He switched back to charm fast. Let's just breathe, he spread his hands like a coach. I took a breath, then another, then spoke carefully. Bring your key, my words made his brows lift. He blinked like he misheard. What? Give me your key, I held my hand out through the crack. His mouth twisted and anger flashed again. You can't lock me out, he pointed at the door like ownership. I nodded because I used to believe that too. I can, I kept my tone even. Try me, the dare hung between us. He stared at my hand, then at my eyes. His fingers tightened around his key ring. For 1 second he looked like he might throw it. Then he unclipped it and slid it onto the floor. The key scraped toward my feet. I picked it up and held it like proof. His gaze tracked it, sharp and resentful. You're making a mistake, his voice sounded almost calm. I stepped back and locked the deadbolt. Then I locked the chain again, even though it was already set. I did it twice because my hands needed something to do. He stared at the locks like they were an insult. You're going to tell people, his voice carried a threat. I grabbed my phone again and opened my contacts. Your mom first, I said it without thinking. His face drained and I knew I'd found a weak spot. He lunged toward the door, then stopped himself. He forced a laugh that sounded like it hurt. You wouldn't, he shook his head, confident and scared. I hit call before my courage could die. The ringtone sounded too loud in my apartment. He pressed his ear close to the door, listening. When his mom answered, my voice almost failed me. Then I pushed through it because silence helps people like him. Hey, I need you to know something serious. I kept it short because my throat felt tight. Her voice changed instantly, worried and alert. My boyfriend whispered through the door, hang up, like an order. I didn't hang up. I got proof he married someone in Vegas. Her breath caught audible, and that sound made it real. My boyfriend slapped the door once hard. His mom asked questions, rapid and stunned. I answered with facts and offered to send screenshots. She went quiet, then said, I'm calling him. My boyfriend's eyes went wild at that, like an animal cornered. He started dialing too, thumb flying. I could hear his phone vibrating against his palm. He wanted to control the first narrative again. This time he couldn't, and he knew it. I ended the call and texted her the receipt image. Then I sent the same to myself again for safety. My hands shook, but my choices felt sharper now. The door stayed between us like a boundary with teeth. He tried a new voice, almost tender. Please open up, his tone turned small. I messed up, he let the words hang, hoping I'd fill them. I didn't fill them, and the silence made him snap. You're heartless, he spat it like a curse. I stared at the chain and felt my stomach twist. Maybe, I answered because I was done performing kindness. He went quiet, and that quiet felt strategic. I waited, listening for movement. Then I heard his footsteps shift down the hall. I checked the peephole and saw him on the stairs. Relief hit too early, and that was my mistake. My phone lit up with a message from him. A photo my cracked screen taken from earlier zoomed in. Under it he typed, I can make you look insane. My chest tightened because he was escalating. I took a screenshot of that too. Then I called the non-emergency line and asked what to do. My voice stayed calm even while my hands shook. The dispatcher's questions made me realize how serious it sounded out loud. I didn't wait for him to return. I packed his things into bags and set them by the door. I kept it simple and focused, no drama, just removal. Every item felt like cutting a thread. Jenna texted me a forwarded email from the chapel. It matched everything down to the time and fee. I saved it in 3 places because paranoia felt like safety. Then my phone rang again and his name flashed. I answered on speaker, recording with a second device. Talk, one word because I didn't have softness left. His voice came out gentle, almost loving. Can we reset? He asked like this was a bad dinner. No, I didn't add anything. He paused, then sighed like a patient saint. You're spiraling, he used the word like a stamp. I smiled because it was the same script again. I'm clear, my voice stayed low. You married someone, you used my card, you threatened me. He went quiet for 2 beats, then tried laughing. You're exaggerating, he pushed the lie like a button. I didn't argue, I just let the silence stretch. Silence makes liars panic, and he did. Okay, his tone changed sharper, you want facts. I felt my skin prickle because facts from him were always weapons. It was Vegas, he said it like a shield again. It's not real, he rushed the words like speed made them true. I let him talk because the recording was hungry. Then he slipped 1 sentence too far. I'll get Jenna to say it was a prank. My stomach dropped because he said her name so easily. So you know it's real, my words came out steady. He stopped breathing for a second, then cursed under his breath. I ended the call and blocked him. My hands shook, but my head felt weirdly quiet. I sent the recording to my lawyer's intake email. Then I stared at the lock, waiting for the next move. He came back an hour later and saw the bags. I watched through the peephole as he froze. His face shifted, shock, then fury, then that fake calm again. He knocked once, soft, like a new character entered the scene. Open up, his voice sounded careful now. I didn't answer because any answer feeds him. He knocked again, harder, then stepped back. He lifted his phone and started typing, thumbs furious. My screen lit up with one last message. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I stared at it, then deleted it without replying. Because the only thing staying now was him outside my life.